So I'm going to start it today. All right. So today we're going to start factoring trinomials that have it's an A in front is basically what it is. So a number in front. So yesterday when you had a number in front, it factored out with a GCF. So the first thing that we always want to do is check for a GCF. And then after we check for a GCF, if there's still a number left, then you're going to do what I call slide and divide. Ms. Burkhart calls it slide, divide, and bottoms up. And I'll explain why it's all that. But anyway, I'll just say slide and divide because it's a little bit shorter. So here's what you're going to do. 2, 23, and 56 do not have a GCF. Okay, we want to try to take this 2 out. If we can't, then we're not going to worry about it. 23 is not divisible by 2, so we know there's not a GCF. Okay, so here's what you do. You slide the 2 to the back by multiplying it. And if you need a calculator, grab a calculator. If you have your phone, you can use your phone. It's fine. You're going to write down that 2 is going to go away. You're going to write down a squared minus 23a. And again, you have a calculator the whole time, so if you need to use it, 56 times 2 is 112. And you're going to use whatever sign was right there. So it was a plus 56, so it's going to be a plus 112. Now you just do what you did yesterday. I need factors of the last 112 that add to negative 23. And if you're like me, and I've been doing this for a million years, I don't know my factors of 112, and I'm not going to sit here and list them all out, right? Do it on my calculator. So remember what I said, we're going to put it in our calculator. 112 divide x, and then 112 divide x plus x. Excuse me, y'all. We're going to go in our table, and we're looking for negative 23. So there's negative 24 and negative 23 at the top. My 2 numbers are negative 7 and negative 16. That'll add to negative 23. So we'll write them down like we did yesterday. A minus 7, A minus 16. But we have to undo what we did in the beginning. So we did slide. Now we have to do divide. So don't forget to divide. That's the biggest thing is people forget to do that divide. And there might be times that I forget. Y'all just yell at me, okay? So I do forget it as well. So it's not like it's one of those things that are just, it happens, okay? So we're going to divide what we slid over, which was the 2. If you can reduce it, like the second factor, 16 over 2 is 8. You want to reduce it. If it's a fraction you can reduce, again, you want to reduce it. There's the one I was missing. Perfect. All right. If it's a fraction that you can't reduce, like 7 over 2, this is where Ms. Burkhart says bottoms up. So we just put this 2 in the front. So it's 2a minus 7. And this is your factored form. Remember, it doesn't matter which one goes first, okay? And that's it. So there's a step before and a step afterwards, and in between is exactly what you did yesterday, okay? So look at the next one. 7, 23, and 6 do not have any like terms. So we're going to slide the 7 by multiplying. 6 times 7 is 42. Again, if you're not sure, we're going to do 42 divide x and 42 divide x plus x, and we're looking for negative 23. So there's negative 13. Negative 23 is negative 2 and negative 21. You don't have to make the chart unless you just need to, okay? I don't need to see it. Is everybody okay with this? Last step, what do we got to remember to do? Divide by 7. If you can't reduce it, you just move the bottom up. So our first factor is 7n minus 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. There's your answer. That's it. Everybody good? Y'all have any calculator questions? Y'all are okay with those? All right. 5, 36, and 36 do not have a GCF. Again, always check for a GCF to make it easier on yourself. I'm going to tell you once we get into solving in the next unit, you're going to want to pull that GCF out to make your life easier, okay? So if there is a GCF, pull the GCF out. All right, so 5 times 36 is 180, so I get x squared plus 36x plus 180. I'm going to look for factors of 180 that add to 36. So I'm going to put it in my calculator, 180 divide x, 180 divide x plus x. Looking for 36 in the red column, there's negative 36, but I want positive 36, and it's 6 and 30. So 6 and 30. And remember your last step, we did slide, so we have to divide. 6 over 5 will not reduce, so we just throw the 5 in front. Your first factor is 5x plus 6. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Any questions? Not hard, right? Just takes a little bit longer. It's just not hard. 3, 34, and 80 do not have a GCF. So we're going to slide that 3 over. We get b squared minus 34b plus 240. We're going to use our calculator, a positive 240 divide x, 240 divide x plus x. We're looking for a negative 34. There's a negative 64, 46, 38. There's negative 34. So we get b and a negative 10, b and a negative 24. We did slide. Now we divide. 10 over 3 will not reduce, so we put the 3 in the front. And then 24 divided by 3 is 8. And that's it. The B, sorry. Terrible writing today. All right. One more of these and then we'll see some stuff happening. Okay. 5, 29, and 42. But look, what do they all have in common? They all have an x, right? So let's go ahead and take that x out. So that changes it to 5x squared plus 29x minus 42. Now, remember when you write your answer, that x has to be there. The one that you pulled out has to be there. All right. To factor this, we don't have any other GCF. We're going to slide it over. I'm going to keep bringing that x down so I don't forget it. I'm going to factor x squared plus 29x. And then what is negative 42 times 5? Make sure you use the negative in there, negative 210. Okay. Trying to get it where you can see everything. There we go. I need factors this time of negative 210. Okay, so negative 210 divide x plus x in the bottom. They need to add to 29. They're right there, negative 6 and 35. So leave that x. I got a negative 6 and a positive 35. Do not forget to divide. So my final answer, keep that x on the front. 6 over 5 won't reduce, so I slide that 5 in the front, 5x minus 6. And then 35 divided by 5 is 7. Don't forget to keep that x on the front. So when you're doing your EDS stuff, if you take anything out, make sure that's in that answer. I don't want you to get it wrong because you forgot to type it in, okay? What about the next one? 12, 2, and 24. Do they have anything in common? 12, 2, and 24. Are they all divisible by something? What is it? 2. They're all divisible by 2. So I'm going to pull that to the outside just like I did the x. I get 6n squared You can put a 1 there if you want to, but I'm just going to put my n and then minus 12. Okay, again, if you want to put a 1 in the middle, that's fine, just to remind you that you're looking for a 1. We're going to do slide and divide. N squared plus n minus 6 times 12 is 72. We're looking for factors of negative 72 that add to, remember our middle number is positive 1. So right there they are, negative 8 and positive 9. Keep bringing on that 2. We said negative 8 and positive 9. And remember our last step is we have to divide. Now, we haven't seen one like this, so check this one out. 8 over 6 will reduce, but it won't reduce like the 24 over 3, okay? It will reduce. So we do want to go ahead and reduce that. So I'll tell you guys when we reduce it. Let me use the black pen so you guys can see it. They are both divisible by 2, so it gives us 4 over 3. And that's the number that we're going to slide to the top. So 2 times 3n minus 4. Reduce it as much as you possibly can. If you don't know how to reduce, it's okay. Your calculator will do that for you. And I know some people think that that's dumb, but you might get one that's kind of weird that you're like, I can't remember the factors. So math, enter, and it'll give you what you're supposed to have, okay? So like on the next one, if you're not sure how to reduce it, type in 9 over 6, math, enter, and it'll give you 3/2. Again, you should be able to do that one in your head, but if you get one that's kind of weird, or you just have like a brain dead moment, because I have those sometimes, just go ahead and put it in your calculator. All right, so that gives you 2n plus 3. Okay. Look at number 7. What do they have in common? Number 7. Yeah, they all have an M. They don't have a number in common because 25 is 5 and 5. There's nothing that's going to simplify that. So we're going to take out an M, and it's going to leave me with 4m squared minus 25m plus 6. I'm going to slide the 4 over by multiplying. That gives me m squared minus 25m plus 24. If you already know them, you can use them. Factors of 24 that add to negative 25. It's going to be negative 24 and negative 1. Again, you can use your calculator. You can do it in your head. It doesn't matter. And then the last step is divide by 4. 24 over 4 reduces perfectly to 6. 1/4 will not reduce, so we just put the 4 in the front. And there's your answer. All right, so this one's big, right? This one's big. 60, 198, and 324. 324. I know that a 2 will come out. I don't know if there's more that will come out. What else could we use? What else do you think might come out? I know a 2 will. Y'all ever do this? Like, okay, I know a 2 will come out. Can I get anything bigger? Is there anything bigger that will come out? Do you think? You're not sure? We can break it down like we did the other day, but that just takes forever. You can, it's fine. But I would try any factor of 60 that I could think of. So I would definitely try 6 or 4 or something like that. Okay. So 6 is the bigger one. We can try it. So what I do is like 60 divided by 6, that works. 198 divided by 6, 324, that works. So I can try to do more. 10, 33, and 54. 33 is prime. Nothing else will happen with it. No, it's not. It could have a 3, but 10 doesn't have a 3. Everybody got it? So you can do that, or you can break it down like we did before, where we did 6 is 2 and 3, 2 and 5. We know the ends aren't in common. 198 is 2 and 99. 99 is 9 and 11. And then 324 is 2 and 162, which is 2, and 81 is 9 and 9. So that just takes, I just feel like that takes forever. So I just try to find numbers that'll go through it, but it's all going to be factors of 60. Okay, it has to be the factors of 60. So they have a 2 in common. They do not have another 2 in common. They have a 3 in common, but they don't have a 5 in common. So that's where I got the 6 from. Okay. So when I take the 6 out, I get 10 n squared minus 3 times 11 is 33n. And then we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 2, or 324 divided by 6 is 54. You have to take the GCF out. If you don't take it out, you're going to get it wrong. Okay, especially in the EDN, I don't want you to do that. Make sure you always take out a GCF first. Slide your 10 over. We get n squared minus 33n plus 540. We're looking for factors of 540. That adds to negative 33. So there's negative 64, negative 57. Ooh, what happened? And I put it in right.
Isn't it supposed to be a negative 54?
Is it a negative? Yes, it is. I told y'all I mess up all the time. Thank you for helping me. Thank you. Now we should see something. Negative 12, negative 18. I'm way past it right now, but I'm going to go. Here we go. Negative 33, negative 45, and 12. Thank you for fixing that. And please don't ever feel bad for like correcting me. As soon as you see it, go ahead and say it, because I'm like you. I make those little mistakes too. Okay, those are easy mistakes for anybody to make. All right, so we got negative 45 and 12. Remember, I have to do the divide part, so I'm dividing by 10. And this one is like the one above it, where 45 over 10 will definitely reduce by 5. So that'll give you 9 and 2. So we bring the 2 up. And then 12 and 10 also reduces by 2, which is 6 and 5. And we bring the 5 up, 5n plus 6. Thank you for catching that. I really do appreciate it. Y'all, anytime you see me make a mistake, fix it. I will not ever get mad at you. I'm the dummy that made it, so it's okay. Everybody good with slide and divide? Y'all okay? All right, again, the only thing that you typically miss is the divide part. So we're going to move on from these, and we're going to go down to number 13, where it's sum and difference of squares. I'm not going to waste your time doing 4 more of those because they take forever. Take out the GCF, then do slide divide if there's a number left in front. All right. So sum and difference of squares, what that means is you're either going to have an answer that looks like this, which means the 2 factors are exactly the same. So you might get x plus 2 and x plus 2. Or you're going to get this, a minus b times a plus b. Now, on your quiz, it's not going to tell you what you have to do. But what you're going to realize, if it's a difference of squares, I'm going to show you how to do it. I call it pairs and share. Pairs and share. It does have to be a negative. If you look, these are negatives except for 15, and 15 is going to be the special one. So I'm going to work around it for a minute, and then we'll go back to 15, okay? So what's going to happen is I'm going to start with 14 and we're going to look at it. And if I break it down, 16 is 4 and 4. And I know that that breaks down more, but I'm going to leave it at that for a minute because that's one of my pairs. And then I have X and X minus Y and Y. I have pairs of numbers. I have a pair of 4s, I have a pair of X's, and I have a pair of Y's. When we have pairs and we're really nice, we want to share that. How do we share? We make 2 parentheses and we're given each of them. In the front, I had a 4 and an X that I could share. In the back, I had Y's I could share. The way we don't have a middle term, that third term in the middle, is because one is positive, one is negative, and it will cancel out. That's your factor. It's that simple. Don't make it complicated. Okay. So I'm going to move down to 16. What are your factors of 9? 3 and 3, right? X and X. It's a minus, so that means I can do it. 4 is 2 and 2, and 2 Y's. Everything has a pair. Everything has a pair. So we make 2 sets of parentheses. In the front, we're going to share a 3 and an X. In the back, we're going to share a 2 and a Y. One is positive, one is negative. That's literally all you do. So on 18, what are your factors of 25? And I have U, a minus, and then I have VV. So what am I sharing in the front? 5U. In the back? A V. One is positive, one is negative. That's it. And again, the reason we can do this is because we have pairs and a minus. Pairs and a minus. All right, so when we look at 13 and 17, I'm going to go back up to 13. Told you 15 will be last. I'm going to go back up to 13. Remember, our first step to factoring is always what? What do we always want to look for? A GCF, right? We always want to look for GCF. What do these have in common? 50 and 2, what do they have in common? A 2, so we want to take that out. Leaves us with 25m squared minus n squared because it took the 2 out. Now, factors of 25 are 5 and 5, m and m. N squared is n, and they are separated by a minus. Don't forget to always bring the GCF down. Then we're going to make 2 sets of parentheses because we have pairs. In the front, I have a 5 and an m. In the back, I have n's. One is positive, one is negative. So sometimes you have to take that GCF out to see that you can factor it. That's it, y'all. 17 is the exact same way. 75, if I break it down, is 3 and 25, which is 5 and 5, U and U. Then I have a 3 and 2 V's. You guys will see that they have a 3 in common, and it leaves pairs. Okay, so pull out that GCF of 3. Then it leaves pairs. In the front, I have a 5U. In the back, I have a pair of V's. One is positive, one is negative. All right, so again, let me show you why this is the case. All of these had a number on the end, but I'm going to make it, a letter on the end. But I'm going to make one like this. You just watch. You don't have to write it down unless you just want to write it down, and then you can do it on the top of your paper or whatever. Okay. This is actually, if we make it look like our other ones we did, it looks like this. Okay. We just don't have that middle term. So I want to show you why this works. Okay. If there's a 25 in front, we're going to slide it. We need factors of negative 100 that add to 0. That's going to be positive and negative 10. And then we have to divide by 25. These reduce to 2 and 5. And we get 5x minus 2 and 5x plus 2. Now, I could have shown you that long way. Or I can tell you 25 is a pair of 5 and x in the front. 4 is 2 and 2. 1 is positive, 1 is negative. Okay, so I don't want to show you the long way, but I want to show you why it does work. Okay, it cannot have a middle term, and it must be minus to be able to work. Got it? All right, so this one has 2 terms, so it doesn't have a middle, so that's good. But the problem is it's a positive. This one is not factorable. Does everybody understand that? The only way it would be factorable is if it had a GCF. So if it's 2 terms and it doesn't have the minus in between, it's probably just going to be GCF. Okay, everybody got that? It has to have a minus. So we're going to flip our page. And we see a couple more, and they're exactly the same as what we just did. If you look at these, how do you know that it might have a GCF? You know that 20 is not a perfect pair. Okay, you can't do it's 4 and 5. So if it's 4 and 5, I think to myself, 4 is a perfect pair, but 5 is not. Both of these are divisible by 5. That's exactly how I think about it. Okay, so on this one, I would pull out 5. I would get 25x squared minus 4y squared, which is exactly what this one is, just with different letters. Okay, so 20 looks just like this one, just without a GCF. 25 breaks into 5 and 5, and they have an x. 4 breaks into 2 and 2, and it has a y. 1 is positive, 1 is negative. Ooh, I don't think we're supposed to do cubes yet. We're not. I don't think I put cubes on your. Give me just 1 second. Hang out with me for just a minute. Oh, I could have just went up there. I don't think we have any cubes yet. I think that's in the next unit. So that's what I'm, come on, Edia. That's what I'm looking for. So just bear with me, Zoomers, while I'm looking. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, no, we're good. So we're done with our notes. This will show up again later. So we don't need any of this right now. Okay, we don't need any of that right now. Everything else, slide and divide, GCF. So first thing you want to do always is GCF. Your second step if it's 3 terms, you're doing what I call the cheater method. Or slide and divide, which you learned today. Cheater method was yesterday, slide and divide was today. 4 terms yesterday was grouping. And if you have 2 terms, it may just be GCF and you're done, or it could be difference of squares, or what I call pairs and shares. Okay. So tomorrow, remember the only way that you get your attendance for tomorrow is by doing the assignment. We don't have a Zoom on Wednesday. If you need one, yell at me and I'll private Zoom you, and that's fine. All you're doing tomorrow is a factoring assignment on EDIA. Got it? It's everything all at the same time. So this will help you. The first thing you're going to do is look for GCF, and then you're going to look to see how many terms it is. If it's 3 terms, does it have a number in front or not? If it has a number in front, it's slide divide. If it doesn't, we're just doing cheater method from our calculator. If it's 4 terms, you group the first 2 and the last 2. And then if it's 2 terms, you may be done if it has a plus in the middle, but if it has a minus, it could be pairs and share. If it's not, then you're just done at GCF. So don't freak out about that. All right. So today, all you're working on is difference of squares and either slide and divide, or there may be some that are nice enough to give you some cheater method. So just be ready for that. So I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording. Zoomers, don't